Hi, sorry, there was a technical issue and the thing just went off. Sorry, I'm back again. I hope you are able to reconnect with me again. But if you are not, um, I'll find this will be available on YouTube for you to actually have a look, or you go to my Facebook page and have a look. Sorry if I lost some of you, but I'm just gonna carry on from where I stopped. I was talking about the Christmas finance, and we were talking about things that you need to understand for your information. So I was on number 5 on the for your information part of this session. Remember, this is still our Modesties Money Masterclass. This is episode number 55, and we're discussing how to have a financially responsible Christmas. And we said we have split this session into two parts, for your information and for your application. So in the for your information part, we discussed 1 to 5, and number 5 I said Christmas impressions don't last. Okay, so going forward now, number 6, I said Christmas isn't expensive, humans are extravagant. Number 6 of for your information bit is that Christmas is not expensive, it's humans that are extravagant. Okay, so I'm not sure that if you go back to the story of Christmas and it's a Christian celebration, I'm not sure that the idea that or what God had in mind by sending Jesus Christ to come into this world to be born and for Christians to be celebrating that remarkable event. I'm not sure the original idea was to make it a very expensive time to live in, or a very expensive time to survive. So, Christmas was originally conceived to be a time of celebration, a time for Christians to remember the birth of Jesus Christ, and a time of joy, happiness, families coming together. So I cannot really pinpoint and I cannot finger where the intention was to make Christmas an expensive time, and I don't think that was the intention. So the original intention of Christmas was not to make it an expensive time, but then it's humans that have become extravagant. Human beings have put their own spin on Christmas and turned Christmas on its head and made it what they wanted it to be. And then the corporate organizations came in and helped everyone because the job, I mean, the job of the corporates or the corporate organizations is to spot an opportunity. And the moment they spot an opportunity, they play on the consumer's intelligence, they play on their emotions, and then they cash in. Right? So Christmas isn't expensive. It's humans that are extravagant. So there is no point blaming Christmas for all the financial worries that you have, because Christmas wasn't responsible for the financial worries. It wasn't responsible for the financial decisions. You were responsible. Human beings were responsible. So number 6 is that Christmas is not expensive. It's humans that are extravagant, meaning that Christmas can only be as expensive as you want it to be. If you choose to be extravagant, it is your choice. All right? Don't blame it on Christmas. Poor old Christmas has been there for decades, and people have enjoyed it centuries after centuries. So if you choose to enjoy your own Christmas your own way, it's not Christmas's fault. It is you who will take responsibility for your actions. So that's number 6. Christmas isn't expensive, humans are extravagant. Number 7 on the for your information part here is that there are 4 ways to fund Christmas. Christmas expenses are funded in 4 ways. Your income, through credits, through savings, or through your wealth. Okay? There are 4 ways you can possibly fund Christmas. Oh, thank you very much, IK. So, there are 4 ways you can fund your Christmas expenses. You can fund it through your income, you can fund it through credit, you can fund it through your savings, you can fund it through your wealth. If you choose to fund Christmas through your income, so you need to understand the implications of these 4 ways of funding Christmas and then choose which one works best for you. If you're funding Christmas through your income, you need to understand that if you are on a regular income, on a stable income, and on a fixed income, you need to understand that that Christmas expenditures means that your income is going to be under extra pressure, and you have to be willing and ready to shoulder the extra pressure that you're going to put on that income. Especially if you're on fixed income, you need to know that that income doesn't rise, and it won't rise because it's a fixed income. If your income is, say, £1,500 a month, in Christmas, in December, you will receive the same £1,500 a month, except your organization offers a Christmas bonus or some kind of bonus for the end of the year. Then that's one-off. Okay, so you have to be aware that if you are funding your Christmas through your income and you're on fixed income, your income will not increase because of Christmas. It will decrease. It means there will be extra demands on that income, and you've got to be sure that those extra demands, there are things that are built into that income that can shoulder them. If you have, the second one is by credit. This is the time of the year when credit card applications go through the roof. Borrowing goes beyond imagination. Buy now, pay later becomes such a darling. Okay? There are organizations that are offering all kinds of credit facilities. Oh, you can have this American style fridge freezer in time for Christmas. Hi Richard, good afternoon, thanks for coming on. And the best part of it, you don't have to pay for it now. So it's a buy now, pay later. Buy now, then worry about the payment later. You can pay later in 6 months or in 12 months time. There is a possibility that that credit facility comes with an interest rate, and that interest rate is at cutthroat price. Or the price for which you're buying that item is at least 50% or more than the actual price you would have bought it if you could afford to buy it in cash. So that has been built into the price of the product, and so that you can extend it and spread it over a longer period of time. These guys are not stupid, right? And there is a possibility that they would have given you that buy now, pay later option, so that if you don't pay the cash value within a certain time, you start paying interest on it after that time has elapsed. There is a good chance that you might forget paying the cash value before the expiration, and then you automatically, it goes into a credit agreement, and then you pay for that and interest on top of it over a long period of time. So you need to understand that if you're funding your Christmas via credits, it's going to increase your debt burden. It means you're going to be owing more than what you're currently owing. Number 3 way of funding your Christmas is via savings. So you might have saved for Christmas even before Christmas. You might have started saving for Christmas since January, because you know how much you want to spend for Christmas with the family. And by the time Christmas comes, yeah, you're there, you've saved for Christmas, and you are making the expenditures out of your Christmas savings. Or you might actually go and dip hands into your own other savings that is not Christmas related to fund Christmas, with the intention of replacing it after Christmas, there is a good chance that you may not be able to replace that money that you took out of your savings to fund Christmas after Christmas. And that might be your emergency fund. And when the real emergency happens, there is a good chance that that money would have been depleted and you may not be able to meet up with the emergency. Okay? Number 4 way that Christmas is being funded is via your wealth. Some people who have got, say, property investments, when they get their rental income and they pay off their buy-to-let mortgages, whatever is left is an income, and it was derived from their wealth, from their properties, not their main income. So they might have their own main income, and that is part of their wealth, and they are just getting Christmas funded through the returns on their wealth. Or it might be the dividends from their stocks and shares investments, or even the bonus from their fund investment on a fund platform. Or they might have had 1 or 2 of their bonds reach maturity by the time Christmas comes, and they take that maturity value and they spend it on Christmas. Okay, so those are 4 different ways that people can fund their Christmas expenses. Listen, I am not justifying any of them. I am only making you aware of their existence so that you can know how your Christmas is being funded, and then you begin to ask yourself, how is my Christmas being funded? But these are the 4 different ways that Christmas expenses can be funded. Now let us go into something more practical, the part where we say this is for your application. Okay, so we have done the first part for your information, and I'm going to run through that again. For your information, number 1, Christmas is seasonal. Number 2, Christmas is not an emergency. Number 3, Christmas is 90% emotional and 10% reality. Number 4, Christmas is all about family. Number 5, Christmas impressions don't last. Number 6, Christmas isn't expensive. Humans are extravagant. Number 7, Christmas expenses are funded in 4 ways: via income, credit, savings, and wealth. Excuse me. So now for your application, number 1 for your application is work out your Christmas budget and stick to it. Work out your Christmas budget and stick to it. Now, these are practical steps I need you to adopt and apply to have a financially responsible Christmas. The choice of the word work out was intentional. All right? And the reason I said it was intentional was because you need to work out how much you've got to spend. How much is this Christmas going to cost me? Okay? If you've got children and you've got to buy Christmas gifts for those children, you need to work out what each child's Christmas gift is going to cost you, and reasonably within your remit of affordability. Work it out. So that's why I said work it out. It becomes your budget and you now stick to it, because you've worked it out. But you need to be used to budgeting already before this works for you. Because if you're not used to budgeting, trust me, Christmas is not a good time to start practicing budgeting. Right? Still, you can give it a go. You can try. So work out how much this Christmas is going to cost. If you're going to buy people gifts, how much would this gift cost me within my remit of affordability? If you're going to buy food for Christmas, how much food do we need for Christmas? And this food that we're going to buy, for how long is it actually supposed to last us for Christmas? And how long is my Christmas? For some people, Christmas is just 2 days, 25 and 26. For some people, Christmas starts from the 24th and it lasts until the 2nd day in the new year. That's their Christmas, window. For some people, it's even 2 weeks. I'm celebrating this Christmas for 14 days. From 24th for 14 days, I'm celebrating Christmas, right? Excuse me. So work out what your Christmas budget is and stick to it. That's important. Don't let anything make you deviate from that budget, because you know what you can afford. You know how much you can afford. You know how much you want to spend on Christmas. And you know how it's going to affect your finance generally. And that's why budgeting is very important. And Christmas is a good time to apply your budgeting skills and your budgeting knowledge. Number two for your application is build a Christmas savings pot. Remember when I was talking about the 4 ways you can fund Christmas? Savings was one of them. And remember what I said in my for your information part, that Christmas is not an emergency. So you've always known that Christmas was going to come on the 25th of December. So it's not an emergency. What does that tell you? It is something you can absolutely plan for by building a Christmas savings pot. And then by the time Christmas arrives, it's no longer a financial burden for you. It then becomes a project that you have saved towards, and then you are going to use the money you have saved for that Christmas pot, and sort it out. Because you have already disciplined yourself before Christmas. Excuse me, that every time I get paid, I have a Christmas pot. Oh, I'm going to set aside £50 into this my Christmas pot. Because by the end of the year, I want to be spending £600 on Christmas. That's my Christmas budget. Assuming maybe that's what you want to spend. If you are earning a lot more, or you have a bigger financial responsibility you want to bear towards Christmas, you can choose not to make Christmas financially stressful for you by spreading the Christmas expenses over a period of 12 months, where you can be putting in, say, £100 or £200, whatever you think your Christmas is going to cost you. Set it aside, spread it across over a period of 12 months, and start build up Christmas savings pots, and start putting money in there against that Christmas. Because that's when Christmas doesn't become a financial burden. It becomes a planned event. And then executing Christmas becomes fun. Because then you can spend money on the Christmas, on the things that you've already said you're going to spend money on. Because you already know what your Christmas budget was and how much you're going to be spending on Christmas. And then from that Christmas pot, that's what you're spending out of. So you're not overspending, and you're not putting pressure on your finances. You're not putting pressure on your income. You're not having to liquidate your wealth, maybe selling your shares, or taking money that is coming from your property investments to fund Christmas, because Christmas is already funded. Number 3 for your application is avoid Christmas competitions. Okay? Avoid Christmas competitions. Christmas competition drive people into unnecessary expenditures that they can avoid. Listen, you don't need to buy a more expensive phone to show somebody that you've achieved more than they have. You don't need to buy a more expensive car just to show somebody that you have arrived and that you are doing better than they are doing. Your clothes don't need to be more expensive for you to prove that you're doing better. Just do what you know you can afford. If you can afford it, that's fine. I'm not stopping you from doing what you know that is within your remit of affordability. But let the motive not be competition. Because once the motive becomes competition and you become dangerously competitive, it becomes dangerous for your financial survival. So avoid Christmas. Christmas is not a time for competitions. It's a time for celebration. And you do not need to compete with anybody to celebrate. Because at that point in time, you already have a reason to celebrate. The fact that you're alive, that's what you're celebrating. And if you're a Christian, the celebration is based on the birth of Jesus Christ. It's not based on what you're wearing. It's not based on what kind of car you're pulling. It's not based on what kind of phone or gadgets you've got. It's not based on anything material. It's based on the level of joy that you can express and how many lives you can touch during Christmas. So avoid Christmas competitions. In the UK here, Christmas decorations go up every now and then. And people, you can enter a street and you see loads and loads of different types and styles of Christmas decor. And I love them. I love seeing Christmas decorations and people, because people really, make out time to really decorate their homes for Christmas, because it's a special time. All right? And I love it. I enjoy it. But if your motive of decorating is to make sure that yours is better than your neighbor's, yeah, I just want to make sure that my neighbor's decoration is not better than mine. That's why I want to decorate my house and decorate. Then it's the wrong reason. It's the wrong motive. So if you're going to go home for Christmas and you want to go home in a brand new car because you have worked so hard for the year, you can achieve it and you earned it and you can afford it and you bought it, fine, enjoy it. But let it not be on the basis that you want to show this guy, your neighbor, you want to show him that, you are bigger than what he thinks. And then you plunge all your life savings into making an impression because of competition. And at the end of the day, you're worse off, because what you're living is a fake life. You can't afford what you said you can afford. So avoid Christmas competitions. Number 4, and for your application, is do not tamper with your emergency funds. Do not tamper with your emergency funds. Remember, I said that Christmas is not an emergency. Okay? So don't treat it like one. Your emergency funds, I've been talking about emergency funds, I've been teaching about emergency funds, building emergency funds for yourself. And I have always advocated that target to build 3 to 6 months worth of your earnings in emergency funds. If you're single, 3 months worth of emergency funds should be kind of 3 months worth of your earnings in emergency funds is good. Because if anything happens to that income, to your earnings, at least within 3 months, you might be able to survive and find another job and crack on with what you're doing. Or if something happens like boiler breakdown, car breakdown, somebody rushed to the hospital, or any kind of emergency occurs, you can dip hands into your emergency and sort it out, and then start building that emergency again. The reason is because you want to protect your income, because it is that income that funds your wealth building exercise. So you want to protect your income as much as possible. And one of the buffers against that is your emergency fund. Because if you have this heavy expenditure that needs sorting, maybe your car broke down and it's going to cost a lot. If you dip hands into your income to sort it out, you're going to suffer. But if you've got an emergency fund, you dip hands into the emergency fund and sort. So Christmas is not an emergency. No matter what happens, do not tamper with your emergency fund during Christmas, because it's not an emergency. Number 5 for your application is control what funds your Christmas. Be in control of what funds your Christmas. That's why in the first part, we mentioned 4 ways to fund your Christmas, right? Income, credit, savings, and wealth. So what I need you to do is to be in control of which of these sources funds your Christmas, because it's your call to make. It's your decision to make. If you choose to borrow to fund your Christmas, it is your decision to make. If you choose to make Christmas a time to be debt-laden or to burden yourself with debt, it is your call, because you felt you were under pressure. Oh, if I don't buy my children the kind of gifts they're asking for, they're going to call me a bad mother, or they're going to call me a bad father. So let me go take this credit card and buy them the wonderful gifts and become the good mother and good father that I need to be in the presence of in front of my children. And then in January or later on, let me deal with the debts. No. A good child would love their parents more for being who they are. And it's better to present the reality of the family finances to your children and explain it to them and make them understand that there will be more and more Christmases to spend. There were times in the past that I could barely afford to buy my children the kind of gifts that they would want for Christmas. But then they're still children. All right. So I understand that the older they get, the more complicated these things get. It's easier if you're dealing with a 1, 2, 3-year-old child. But if you've got teenagers in the house and who have high expectations for Christmas, trust me, that is even the time to start making them understand the realities of life. Do not put yourself under unnecessary pressure because you want to impress even people of your household. If you haven't got the money, they've written their Christmas lists, and trust me, teenagers know what they want for Christmas. Oh, those trainers, those sneakers, those earpods, those phones, those iPads, those dresses, those lovely shoes, those Fitbits, wristwatches, all kinds of gadgets, even the virtual reality, the PS5s, the PS4, they know them all. Okay? It's that time that the expectation is high. But the truth of the matter is, do you really have to borrow to do that? Because I'm sure if you sit your children down and teach them the real facts and finances of life, they will understand. If you cannot afford this now, you can afford it sometime later. And then you can now start building funds to be able to afford that. If you want to, you can start saving towards it. Because then you now know that they are growing up as children and you need to, step up your game. So you can increase your income in the forthcoming year and increase your Christmas savings pots. However expensive, remember I said, however expensive you want your Christmas to be, that's how it's going to be. So control what funds your Christmas. That's why I use the word control, because you can choose to decide whether it is the credit that funds it, or is it your income, or your savings, or your wealth. Once you're in control of what funds your Christmas, you have a clearer view of what that Christmas should look like. But please, do not borrow to fund Christmas. It's absolutely unnecessary to borrow to fund Christmas. It's only seasonal. And after that period, that's it. There's no need for the adrenaline rush to push you into borrowing. If you can't fund that Christmas, then there are many more Christmases to come. All right? It's seasonal. Whatever you do, do not borrow to fund your Christmas. Number 6 for your application is do your Christmas shopping early, if possible, before it gets crazy. Okay? Do your Christmas shopping early, if possible. Because the closer you get to Christmas and then you want to do the Christmas shopping, that's when emotions run the highest. Right? But if you get your Christmas shopping out of the way early enough, if not all of them, at least most of them, because I'm aware of the fact that some people don't get paid until closer to Christmas. So it's not your fault. That's when you get paid, and that's the only time you can now start doing your Christmas shopping. But if you can do your Christmas shopping early, but then it still boils down to what I was saying. If you had built your Christmas savings pot from January, you wouldn't be waiting to be paid closer to Christmas to do your Christmas shopping. So you can see how all these things are tying in. If you have done your Christmas, if you have been saving for Christmas from January, by the time it hits December 1 or even before December 1, you already started doing your Christmas shopping, because that's when emotions don't run the highest. But closer to Christmas, emotions, and trust me, these businesses and these corporations, these corporate bodies, they pounce on people's emotion. It's your emotion that drives the spending. And the closer it is to Christmas, the more you're panicking and the more the adrenaline rush is higher. The more emotionally charged you are, and the expectation for Christmas, the excitement for Christmas is running high. So you can just blindfold yourself and just shopping like there is no tomorrow, because you want to make the Christmas the best. And you are not wrong, but at what cost? Do your Christmas shopping early if possible. Number 7, avoid impulse buying. Buy only what you need. Yeah. Number 7 for your application is avoid impulse buying. Buy only what you need. So while you're making that purchase decision for Christmas, the key question is, do I want this or do I need it? All right? Do I want it or do I need it? You might want it, but do you really need it? And sometimes you might even buy a thing and receive the same thing as a Christmas gift, right? You might decide to get rid of one, either by selling it or gifting it to somebody else as a gift as well. You know, it's all part of the Christmas gift. At least that's taking care of that expenses. But buy what you need, not just what you want. So because you have a picture of what your Christmas should look like or would look like, you already have a picture of what you will need to make that Christmas. When I went shopping with my wife, she already has in her head what her Christmas food table will look like. So when we when we go shopping, she's already looking at some of the foods in the supermarket and saying, okay, yeah, or if I buy this and I just air fry it and decorate it on the table, she knows the kind of things that she wants to have on her Christmas table. That's a mental picture of what a Christmas table looks like. So you go in there, you buy what you need, not just buying because you're looking at this other person's trolley and they're like, oh, they've got 2 turkeys. I'm not sure one should be enough. It means I might need more than one after Christmas. You got an extra turkey and you dump it in your shopping trolley. Or you look at somebody, they've got all this a carton of wine glasses, 8 of them. Wine glasses. I might need it. You're not even sure you want to take wine for Christmas. And you buy wine glasses. You might have some left at home, but just because it's Christmas, you want it all brand new. You get another wine glass, you dump it in your shopping basket. So buy what you need. Avoid impulse buying. You're watching the TV and you're seeing all this promo, about the iPhone 12, about these sofas and these fridges, or coffee machines, and they are all Black Friday. My wife has been asking me, when is this Black Friday ending? Why? For the past 2 weeks, we're hearing Black Friday, Black Friday. When is the Black Friday? When is it even ending? And they're throwing everything at you at Black Friday prices. A lot of those things they're presenting to you as Black Friday deals are not really as cheap as they're presenting them. What these people do, sometimes 2 weeks to Black Friday deal, they increase the price of those items. And then closer to Black Friday deals, they now bring it down. And they give you the impression that it's on offer at 50% off. If you check the price of, excuse me, if you check the price of those items earlier on in the year, the price they're offering that to you as Black Friday deals is actually more expensive than what it was earlier on in the year. So avoid those impulse buying and just buy what you need. Okay, number 8 is to focus more on family. Yeah, focus more on family. Remember we said Christmas is all about family, and once family is happy, you are happy. So focus more on family for this Christmas and keep family happy, whatever your definition of family is. Number 9, delay some expenditures till after Christmas. Okay, it doesn't have to happen before Christmas. Some of the things that you want to buy, especially the gadgets, electricals, by January, a lot of electricals are slashing in prices. So those 45 inches, 55 inches television, you're being presented at ridiculously low prices before Christmas, hang on. Okay, you don't have to watch it before Christmas. By January, those televisions and those phones and those gadgets might have come down by as much as 40-50% in price. And then you can just go and pick them up, because in January, these corporate organizations are trying to rake in as much cash flow as possible, because they know that the motivation to buy is no longer there in January. So and people have spent a lot of money. So only those who have some spare cash to spend will spend in January. So delay some expenditures till after Christmas. Boxing Day, a lot of companies sell things at ridiculously low price on Boxing Day. And from Boxing Day onwards, these things will reduce in price, a lot of them. So some of the things that you think if you don't buy them before Christmas, excuse me, it's going to be a disappointment. No. You can delay it till after Christmas and you get a better deal. Number 10, I've said it before, whatever you do, do not borrow to fund Christmas. Number 11, which is the last one, be expressive without being expensive. In Christmas, be expressive without being expensive. You can express yourself in Christmas without being necessarily expensive. Meaning, live within your means. Do not spend more than what you earn. Do not go about trying to overdo and outdo yourself. You can express yourself in the things you wear, the things you do, the cars you drive, without being necessarily expensive. Because Christmas is a time of expression and celebration. It's not really a time to put yourself in a very tight corner, and you can't dig yourself out of the hole you've dug for yourself. I hope you have a very merry, friendly Christmas, okay? And a very financially responsible one too. Thank you very much for being here today, and I apologize for the technical difficulties that cut us off the last time. But hey, I hope this has been useful to you, and I'm very keen on hearing what you think about this. I want to know if I've made more friends or less friends. I want to know if I've ruined your Christmas, or if I've helped your Christmas. Thank you, Richard. Or if I've made your Christmas better. But hey, with love from me, thank you very much, and see you guys again on Wednesday and the next week as well. Take care. Goodbye. Bye now.